Red vs. Blue Season 17 Episode 7, Limbo, has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So we start with Huggins, who was at the beginning of the Big Bang before it ever exploded. Gonna be one of those days, huh? So Huggins reunites with her parents, who are not dead, and tell her that light cannot be destroyed. Black holes loop time, or something, I don't fucking know, honestly, okay? Time is a circle, that's the joke. Anyway, things are screwed up because of the paradox, so Huggins travels light speed in time to fix it. Meanwhile at Blood Gulch, Sister and Doc deal with Tucker. Doc wants to monitor him because he's just given birth, and Sister wants to fuck with him and play around, which she does. Everyone else, mainly just Sarge, is voting whether or not to kill Donut. Donut, feeling underappreciated, storms off and in the process fixes Doc and Tucker. He then goes on to give a speech about how underappreciated he is, and how he's always made fun of and how no one's ever liked him. And everyone is sent to apologize to him. Caboose also time jumped previously to early Blood Gulch prior in the episode where he ran into Huggins. He briefly explains why he knows what he does, and the two plan on talking about it. On the surface, a pretty bare bones episode, and honestly, I didn't like it. The more I kept thinking about this episode, the more I found to dislike. First and foremost, Doc is alive. He didn't die. That didn't last very long, so he's alive. Anyway, let's start from what I didn't like from the simplest and work our way up. Sister! She was the comedic relief this episode, convincing Tucker he was dead. Now inherently that doesn't sound bad, and it wasn't really. The comedy was pretty decent and it got some laughs out of me, but when I thought about it, why is it happening? Is now the appropriate time to be fucking with Tucker? You wake up in the past, are told the universe is about to be destroyed, and now's the time to mess with someone? Not only that, but what about last season? There was this whole semi-touching scene with these two where they share this heart-to-heart and understand one another. These scenes just didn't make sense to me or feel right. At the end of the day, it just kinda seemed odd. Then there was Donut. He told everyone off because he was sick of it, kinda like last season where he did the same thing. And within the speech there was this whole emphasis on how Krovos got to him because he thought someone could finally like him. But here I'm thinking, what about Doc? Yeah, sure, you thought you killed him last season, but technically that was O'Malley. Donut and Doc lived together in Valhalla after he was shot. When the Reds and Blues were stranded on Chorus, who did he bring along? Doc. Donut even has a Facebook photo of the two together with the hashtag BFFLS, best friends for life. So what is he talking about? Doc and him were pretty tight. Yeah, he thought he killed him, but that doesn't negate anything. So slight issue there for me. Then there was Huggins, and as weird as it sounds, it reminded me of the plot and how much I don't like it. Not in the same way of trying to prevent Krovos from escaping her cell, but rather how grandiose the whole thing is. One of my favorite aspects about Red vs. Blue was always how self-contained it was. It was never this huge story that involved the galaxy and the universe. Everything stemmed from one moment in history, and that was Allison Church's death. That was the single most influential moment in the whole of the show, and that's why the Shizno Paradox arc as a whole I don't like. Because it tries to make it bigger than that. Gods, the universe, everything is at stake. When I think about Allison and her death, it sets off a whole chain of events in my mind that just blossoms into this huge thing. Yet here we are at the Big Bang, the biggest thing that could possibly exist, and it means nothing. It doesn't mean anything to Red vs. Blue, it holds no significance. And Huggins' scene just reminded me of that grand scale the arc escalated to. Despite being the beginning of the Big Bang, that's not a moment in time I care about. There's so much there that there's no focus. I think the season has been doing a great job with making things feel incredibly self-contained. It's managed to minimize the scale of the situation, which I think has worked to its advantage. But in reality, it can't escape what it is. I am sort of fundamentally against what the stakes had been raised to in the previous season, and I know this season doesn't have the privilege of just writing it off and pretending it didn't happen, because it did. I'm just not a fan of it, nor being reminded of it. And the final thing to talk about is Caboose. I placed this last because by the looks of it, many people enjoyed him this episode, and you know what? That's all well and good. But for whatever reason, I didn't. And you may have seen the seeds of this last episode where I was trying to understand him, and that does play into this episode. Caboose is apparently a genius. He knows exactly what to do, how to time travel, and he does it. And people love that. They think it's hilarious. But I don't. Once again, I don't understand why. And before you post your comment, it's Caboose, you can't understand him. I get it, that's the joke. Caboose is the only one who knows he's inside of a video game. But I don't necessarily buy into that. I don't think it's been hard to understand Caboose in the past. Off the top of my head, I don't recall anything that he's done that just couldn't be explained by any means. But here it's like he's Neo in the Matrix. He just gets it. The joke is that, oh, he's been stupid forever, but now he's practically God and perfectly understands the workings of everything. I don't know, it's just not really a concept that I can get behind. Perhaps there is going to be an explanation as to why Caboose is like this. I would hope so, but I don't know. There's still like 5 episodes left. The only moment I could possibly think of that slightly ties to this was in season 3 with Church.
Well, when Tucker points the rocket launcher at us, I tried to explain the situation to everybody, and oddly, Caboose is really the only person that understood it right away.
But even then, that's been retconned because that never happened. It was just a gamma simulation. So I don't know. Speaking of Church, him and Lopez apparently are just getting left behind because neither one of them were seen here. In the end, I just didn't like this episode. It reminded me of why the Shizno paradox as a whole doesn't work for me personally. I didn't think the comedy this episode was bad, but I question if it was necessary. It's just like they moved the wrong piece of the Jenga tower, and the episode just collapsed in on itself for me. Hopefully though, the next one can bring it back.